I still have his last voicemail saved on my phone. It is from 2 years ago. He called on a Sunday afternoon. I was watching a game. I let it go to voicemail. He said, "Hey, it's me. Just thinking about you. Give me a call when you get a chance. No rush." I never called back. 3 weeks later, he was gone. I am 83 years old. I have lived long enough to lose a lot of people. But losing Walter was different, because I did not just lose him when he died. I lost him slowly, over years, while we were both still alive, and I was the one who let it happen. We met in 1954. I was 13. He was 12. His family moved into the house 2 doors down from mine in the middle of summer. I remember seeing him carrying boxes from the truck, skinny kid, brown hair that stuck up in the back. He looked nervous. My mother told me to go introduce myself. I did not want to. I was shy back then, but I walked over anyway. I said, "You need help?" He looked at me for a second. Then he smiled. He said, "Yeah, but mostly I need someone to tell me this town isn't boring." I laughed. That was the beginning. We became inseparable after that. We rode bikes together. We played baseball in the empty lot behind the grocery store. We sat on his porch in the summer and talked about nothing until the streetlights came on. He was the first person I ever told a secret to. I told him I was scared of my father. He did not laugh. He just nodded and said his father scared him too. That was the kind of friend he was. He listened. He remembered. He never made you feel small. We went to the same high school. We double dated at prom. We got summer jobs at the same warehouse so we could work together. When I got drafted in 1961, he drove me to the bus station. He did not say much. He just shook my hand and said, "Come back." I did, and he was the first person I called when I got home. Life moved on the way it does. I got married. So did he. I had kids. So did he. We lived in different towns by then. He moved to Ohio for work. I stayed closer to home, but we stayed in touch. Back then, staying in touch meant letters, phone calls when we could afford them, visits once or twice a year. It took effort. But we made the effort. He was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his. When my first son was born, he drove 4 hours to see him. When his daughter got sick, I took a week off work and stayed with his family. That is what we did. We showed up. For decades we showed up. I do not know exactly when things started to change. It was not a single moment. It was not a fight. It was nothing dramatic. Life just got fuller. Work got busier. Kids got older and needed more. My wife's mother got sick, and we spent years going back and forth to help. The phone calls got shorter. The visits got rarer. I started saying things like, "We need to get together soon." But soon never came. At first I noticed. I would think about Walter during the week and remind myself to call. Then I would forget. Or I would remember, but I was tired. Or it was late. Or I told myself I would do it tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. And eventually I stopped noticing that I was not calling. It became normal. We still talked on birthdays. We still sent Christmas cards. Every few years we would have a long phone call and catch up on everything. Those calls felt good. They reminded me that the friendship was still there. But I did not see what was actually happening. The friendship was not still there. It was shrinking. We were not building anything new. We were just repeating what we remembered. The conversation stayed on the surface. We talked about our kids, our health, the weather, sports. We did not talk about the things that mattered. I did not know he was lonely after his wife died. I did not know he had stopped driving. I did not know he spent most of his days alone in that house in Ohio, watching television and waiting for the phone to ring. I did not ask. I assumed he was fine. I assumed our friendship could survive on memory alone. I was wrong. A few years ago, I started to feel guilty. I would think about Walter and realize I had not talked to him in months. I would pick up the phone. Sometimes I would dial. Sometimes I would hang up before it rang. I told myself I was busy. I told myself he understood. I told myself we were old, and old friends did not need to talk all the time. But the truth was simpler. I had gotten comfortable. I had let the friendship become something I kept on a shelf, something I could look at and feel good about, without actually tending to it. I treated 60 years of friendship like it could not die. But everything can die. Even the things you think are permanent. The last time I saw Walter was at a reunion. It was not a formal reunion, just a group of guys from the old neighborhood who got together at a restaurant every few years. Walter came. He looked older than I expected, thinner. He walked with a cane. We sat next to each other. We laughed about old times. We told the same stories we had told for decades. At the end of the night, he hugged me. He said, "I miss you." I said, "I miss you too. Let's not wait so long next time." He nodded. I meant it when I said it, but I did not follow through. That was 4 years before he died. I saw him once more after that. Once. In 4 years. He called me a few times. I called him a few times. But the calls were short. Surface level. I always had something else to do. I always said I would call again soon. I never did. That last voicemail came on a Sunday. I was watching a game. I saw his name on the screen. I thought, I'll call him back after the game. Then I forgot. The next day I remembered, but I was tired. The day after that, I told myself I would call on the weekend. The weekend came and went. 3 weeks later, I got a call from his daughter. She said, "I'm sorry to tell you this. Dad passed away yesterday." I sat down. I did not know what to say. She told me it was his heart. She said it was quick. She said he did not suffer. I thanked her for calling. I hung up. And then I sat in my living room for a long time. I did not cry right away. I just sat there trying to understand what had happened. My best friend was gone, and I had not talked to him in 3 weeks. I had not seen him in over a year. I had his voicemail sitting on my phone, unanswered. I played it that night. His voice sounded the same as always. "Hey, it's me, just thinking about you. Give me a call when you get a chance. No rush." No rush. He had no idea it was the last time. Neither did I. I went to the funeral. It was a small service. His daughter spoke. A few neighbors. A man from his church. I sat in the back. I listened to people talk about the last years of his life, the volunteer work he did, the books he read, the garden he kept behind his house. I did not know about any of it. I did not know he had taken up painting. I did not know he had made new friends at a senior center. I did not know he had been visiting his wife's grave every Sunday morning. I sat there and realized I did not know the man he had become. I only knew the man he used to be, and that was my fault. After the service, his daughter came to me. She said, "He talked about you all the time." I did not know what to say. She said, "He used to tell me stories about growing up with you. He said you were like a brother." I nodded. She said, "He always hoped you would visit." That one stayed with me. He hoped I would visit. And I never did. I drove home from that funeral in silence. I did not turn on the radio. I did not call anyone. I just drove. I thought about all the times I could have called and did not, all the times I said I would visit and never made the plan, all the years I let pass because I assumed there would be more. I thought about that voicemail. 3 weeks. He was gone 3 weeks after he left it, and I could not find 20 minutes to call him back. People talk about losing someone like it happens all at once, but that is not how I lost Walter. I lost him slowly, one skipped call at a time, one postponed visit at a time, 1 year at a time, without noticing the gap getting wider. By the time he died, I had already been losing him for years. I just did not see it until he was gone. I think about him every day now. I think about the things I should have said. I think about the conversations we never had. I think about all the time I thought I had. I was 81 when he died. He was 80. We had known each other for 67 years, and I let the last chapter of our friendship fade into silence. Not because I stopped caring, but because I stopped trying. I told myself that real friendships could survive anything. I told myself that distance did not matter, that time did not matter. I told myself we would always find our way back. But friendship is not a thing you keep in a drawer. It is something that needs attention, presence, effort. And I stopped giving it those things. I kept the idea of the friendship alive, but I let the friendship itself die. There is a difference. I know that now. I keep a photo of us on my dresser. It is from 1958. We were teenagers. We are standing in front of his house, squinting at the camera. I do not remember who took the picture, but I remember the feeling. We were young. We had our whole lives ahead of us, and I thought we would always be that close. I kept that promise for a long time, and then I stopped. Not all at once, just a little bit at a time. Until one day I woke up and realized I did not know my best friend anymore. If you are listening, I am not going to tell you what to do. I do not give advice anymore, but I will tell you what I learned too late. Time does not steal the people you love, you let them go. One ignored call at a time, one busy week at a time, one "I'll do it later" at a time, until later does not exist anymore. I am 83 years old. My best friend of 60 years is gone, and I still have his voicemail. I listen to it sometimes, just to hear his voice, just to remember what I had and what I let slip away. Thank you for listening.